Beautiful people, how y'all doing? Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to another episode 6. Can you pay my bills? Okay. So the title of this episode is called Can You Pay My Bills? Because it was this topic that was going around on social media for quite some time. I know I seen it this year. I know I seen it last year. I may have even seen it in 2018. It's like it just kept on resurfacing. I guess the same time every year. I don't know why people kept talking about it. It was basically splitting the bill 50-50, or should the man pay everything, or whatever. And I never actually commented on it online, but I did have, something to say about it, amongst my peers. Like, we discussed it, but I never actually got into the conversation online. Like, in the vlogs, different vlog sites will post it, and then people will be in their comments. Different people that I follow on social media will post it, and different people will be in their comments. But I never actually left a comment on it because, I'm just not really wanting to get into internet. Like, I would see stuff and then talk about it with my friends, but I never get into it in the comments and writing posts and statuses. I'm not that type. But it came back down my timeline a few days back, and I decided to make it a episode because it's I do want to talk about it because I do have my opinions on it. Now, I'm talking about this thing was and people was going hard on it too. People was going in, people was getting mad, and it was a whole lot going on with that one subject about a man being responsible for all the bills. Basically, that's what everybody was swinging on. They feel but then that's this new generation, they don't want to do a lot of stuff. So I can see why a lot of them feel they not gonna pay all the bills when it comes to these relationships, and I don't feel like they should have to, because I've been in a situation to where I've been the breadwinner and I pay majority of the bills. I've been in a situation where we split 50-50, and then I've been in a situation where I don't pay anything and he pays everything, and that is my current situation I'm in now. And I'm talking about when we first started dating. We came into it, of course, I was paying my own bills. We stayed in separate places. And then we eventually, as our relationship progressed, we eventually moved in together and we split everything 50-50. And I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't even go into it saying or thinking he should pay this and I should pay that. We split everything down the line 50-50. It was no, I pay more than this and he pay more than that. I think the only thing that I did outside of what he didn't do was put groceries in the house. And I don't think I mind that because he still did whatever else that needed to be done outside of paying the bill. So it still all add up at the end. And then as we got more serious, I think he may have taken over the majority, the big portion of the bills, and I did the less. But then it became a hump in the relationship where financially, he went through it. And it's just that happens. Even though y'all are a couple and y'all are together, I'm talking about pre-marriage, not actually married. Even though y'all are a couple, sometimes people come in with pre-existing bills. Am I responsible for paying your bills that you already had before me? No, I am not. I'm not responsible for your bills, and I'm not gonna pay your bills. Okay, that's just point blank, period. Are you responsible for my bills that I had before you? No, you are not, and you're not obligated to pay my bills either. That's just what it is. It's just if he go out and get a car. Am I responsible for his car note every time it's due? No, because it's his car. His name is on it. His name should be on his insurance. I have nothing to do with that. That is his car. So that is his bill. And if he came into the relationship with that, because some people car note, baby, be be a house note, okay? $800 something. So he come into the relationship with a car note that's just super expensive. And we're splitting everything 50-50. That's not my fault because he got this expensive car note, but because if we split everything 50-50, it's just what it is. So, I guess in situations like that, because people had a lot to say. I'm talking about they was going so hard about this topic and about this whole thing. They made polls online. If you Google it, it was a whole big old list of things and different people comment on it. I had one on there and just pulled a few things just for today's episode, just to share different opinions of different people around the world, because it was people from everywhere. Because okay, so one question was, should the man in the relationship pay all the bills? Okay, so one answer was not necessarily. My boyfriend and I work. He has his expenses, and I have mine, and we share the bills equally. Okay, and I don't see nothing wrong with it. Just like I just said, sometimes you come into the relationship with your own expenses, and they have their own expenses. Like, you're not obligated, you're not responsible for each other's bills. Now, if y'all make a bill together and y'all decide together, if you want to decide to help somebody with that bill, then that's on you. But you shouldn't be obligated for somebody else's bill, especially coming into the relationship. So I feel that I understand it and I agree with it. Okay, then another answer to that question is, should the man pay all the bills? And it says, in a serious relationship, finances should be discussed. For example, my boyfriend pays rent and I pay the other bills, etc. Okay, I feel that too. Now, when my now husband, he was my husband at the time, we had got our second place together. We had finally got a home, a house. And we had got our apartment. We finally got a house because we was like getting more serious. We had only one child at the time, and we feel like we weren't gonna get rid of each other, go nowhere no time soon. So let's get us a house to start the bill. One of my aunts pulled me to the side because I was still fairly young at the time, just in my like early 20s. And she was just still trying to like coach me and teach me about life, put me up on game on a few things. And she told me that a man should pay the rent, mortgage, whatever. Like, that whole thing should be his responsibility. I got told that by my aunt, and then on down the line, years later, another elder woman said the same thing. And I have heard that now throughout the years I've been married by different people. In that situation, and I can't say that I disagree with it. That's just like this young lady said. He pays the rent, that would be the rent, the mortgage, or whatever, and she pays the other bills, etc. Going into that, I think we still split everything 50-50 until like he had an issue with his finances and he couldn't afford 50-50. So I took everything, all the big bills over, and then I eventually took everything over. Then he started just giving me whatever he could. I didn't have a problem with that because at that point we was already established. We had a child. We was building, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like it was somebody I was just meeting, or it was like a fresh new relationship. And I'm like, because if that's the case, then that's a big no-no. But in my situation, I didn't see anything wrong with it, and I didn't have a problem with it, nor did I complain. And even when we got into it, child, I never, ever threw that in his face, that I was the breadwinner and I was the main one that was keeping the bills paid, keeping the lights on, keeping the roof over our head, etc., etc., whatever I was doing. I never threw it in his face, because in life we have our reasons that we go through our seasons. Everybody go through their seasons. And you can go through it more than once in the same year. Like, it's no date time stamp on when you're gonna go through hard times. And even in a relationship, one person can be going through something, the other person's perfectly fine. And this when y'all supposed to come together and you're supposed to compromise like I did. So now fast forward to now that we're married, he decided to take over like everything. Like, I literally don't pay nothing, not even my phone bill. And so like before we got married, I think when we was just still like engaged or like going into the engagement, I didn't really pay like major bills, not even then, because now we're like so many children down the line and we know we ain't going nowhere, honey. So I was basically like paying maybe the cable bill, still my phone bill, and taking care of the kids. So my check literally was for me and my children, and then I will help pay on the cable bill. And it was really not even every time, it was like if needed, but I was just giving money just because this is the type of woman I am. And then my husband's the type of man, he don't want to put any stress on me. So even if he is going through it, he not gonna let me know. He gonna try to handle everything on his own. But me being the type of wife I am, and I pay attention to my man, and I know my man, sometimes I can sense it, I pick up on it. So I'm gonna throw him a little something, especially if I got it. But that's why they say 2 incomes are better than 1. Okay? But then if you are just a stay-at-home wife and you have no income coming in and your husband is fully taking care of you with everything, that's cool too, honey. I'm not knocking anything, okay? Because at one point in time, before I started venturing off with my different businesses, for like a few, maybe like going into half of the year, when I became like a stay-at-home wife, I didn't have anything coming in. I depended on him for everything, honey. When it came to my hair, he know how I love me a good weave. He know how I like to keep my hair up. When it came to my clothes and and you know, of course, the children, like, this mandatory and this both our responsibilities. But when it came to like me and keeping up my appearance, like, I depended on him for that, when usually I would go do all this stuff myself. For some months within that first year of me actually being like a stay-at-home wife. So like I said, I've been in, I guess, all three situations. I've did the 50-50. I've been the one to pay majority of the bills. Then I've been the one to pay all the bills. And now I'm the one that don't pay any bills. So I guess I can understand from every aspect of it, because I just feel like this. Whatever you all choose for your household, for your relationship, is what you choose. I don't necessarily believe in the man should pay for everything like back in the day, old times. To each his own. Honey, these millennials, baby, they ain't with all that no way, okay? They not with all that no way. I can't see them being like the men that some of our daddies, granddaddies, and they daddies were. Like back in the day, like my grandmother, she stayed home majority of their marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like, those type of days, though, back in those years. Like, I can't see these new millennials doing it no way. Like, I just can't see y'all doing it. Y'all on a whole different level when it comes to even settling down and building a family and building the right foundation. Like, have that to where the man is actually the man, and then letting the woman be the woman to raise the kids. Like, I can't see all of that. But to each his own, whatever y'all choose to do in y'all household, because what works for you works for you, and what works for us works for us. And like I said, through our relationship, we pretty much did it all, and I never complained about any of it. But at the same time, even with me not doing anything now, like, he don't even let me pay my phone bill. Like, this how much. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. There was something that he wanted to do when he became my husband. It was really nothing that we discussed. It was really nothing that was like, okay, you gonna do this, you gonna do that. It was pretty much just like, that's just how it happened. When he became my husband, I feel like he felt like that was his responsibility. He now has a family. Even though we was his family before we became married, it was like, I don't know, marriage is like, and I tell people all the time, a lot of people say to me, you know, marriage is no different. You know, it's just a piece of paper. It ain't no different if I'd been with this person for umpteen X amount of years. It is a different, y'all. And I don't know if I can explain it. It's just like, when you get married, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because you are thinking for two now. You're no longer thinking for yourself. Like, if you're not really committed in your marriage, like, everything that goes on with you, whether it's finances, whether it's your social life, honey, whether it's a new job, whatever it is, whether when it comes to the kids, if you have a spouse, your marriage mind gonna kick in. You know, I gotta think for two people now. I'm not thinking for one, because we got one. So, like, that's just something my husband wanted to do when he became my husband, and I ain't have no problem with it, because like I said, I have been the breadwinner. I have been the one to take care of him, and I feel like when we got married, he felt like now he's in a position to take care of me, because you know. And then some people may not be in that position, so they choose whatever they choose. I don't see nothing wrong with any of it. I don't see nothing wrong with any of it. So on the poll, it was another question, and it was like, who should pay what in the marriage? I've already pretty much spoken on that. I supposed to went back to it, but y'all went to rambling on. And I chose those two questions because those stuck out to me the most, because they applied to my situation. And I just pretty much explained about a marriage. And so one of the answers was, if both the husband and the wife make the same exact income, a 50-50 split will work. I don't see nothing wrong with that. The only thing about that is, if he wanted to, if he could pay the rent or the mortgage by himself, then he could. And then that leaves the wife to have extra money to do XYZ, and XYZ usually mean the kids, because they always need something, always. Okay, so that's how I feel on that. And then another answer was, me and my husband pay 50-50 for everything, because we believe it is fair. To each his own, because some men, I don't believe in, you know, old school rule where the man pay for everything, or even the man pay for majority. Some men just want you to, then in some of those situations, y'all, I'm gonna be honest, it might be jealousy. Okay? Because you can be jealous of your spouse. You can, well, I hope you ain't jealous of your spouse. I mean your partner. Because if y'all done got married and you being jealous of your husband or your wife, y'all shouldn't have got married, or y'all need to get a divorce ASAP, or you're heading to one. But I believe that can happen in relationships. I believe that people that are in relationships can be jealous of their significant other. I do believe that. And with me saying that, like if you make more than him, I don't really know. Like I'm not gonna say that it's all the way true, but I feel like in some situations men are jealous of women when they make more money. Because if a man makes more money, it just like society automatically assumes, it's just like this whole thing what they're talking about. Men supposed to be the bread winners, men supposed to take care of the family, men supposed to take care of all the bills. To society, that's normal. If a man makes more money than a woman, that's normal. But in some cases, if a woman makes more money than a man, it may be some little jealousy there, and the reason why they want you to pay 50-50. It may just be, sis, I don't know, don't hold me to it, but in some situations, y'all, that's just what it is. It may be a tad bit jealousy there that they don't want you to have more than them, not even in a relationship. But see, that's all bad. That's not how it should be. If we paying 50-50, y'all come to an agreement on y'all together, not on y'all own, together as a couple, as a team, to split it, and then it's fair for both of y'all, and just what it is. But with the whole situation, really what it comes down to, and my conclusion is, to each his own. Whatever works for you and your household, your man, your situation, your relationship, it was works for y'all. What works for me may not work for y'all. What works for them may not work for them. You know, whatever, so on, whatever it is. And like I said, I've been in all situations, and I never complained about any situation. Like, I'm okay with the situation I'm in now, even though I still contribute in my own way. Like, I still do stuff just because sometimes. It's not like, you know, sometimes when I feel like just paying on something because I want him not to, I still do it. But I'm saying, like, I don't have to, because he takes that load off. But sometimes I still do just because this type of woman I am, okay? But you know, I have my part I play in this marriage. Like, I do the groceries, I do household, the toiletries, I do the kids, of course. That's like my number one priority. And like I said, they always need something because I have 5 of them, okay? Everyone always needs something. And then I have to maintain myself. And sometimes I may even give him something, you know, like far as like clothing or something like that. You know, just me being a wife. So I've been in all situations. I don't see a problem with any of it. And that's my take on it. I always wanted to speak on it, but I'm not your type of comment type girl. Like, you're not going to see me in too many commenting on deep debates like that. Because some of these debates, baby, people be going in, okay? Let Facebook get a hold of something. They gonna talk about that for 3-4 days straight. Then stuff start getting on my nerves. Like, I'm telling y'all, this topic right here kept resurfacing over and over and over again. So one time I almost wanted to get in the comments and chit chat with everybody because they had been talked about so much, and I did have my opinions on it. But you know, I'm just the type of person on social media. I like to post my posts, get on up off of there. I don't really be on there with the extras, with coming, and you know, and then it starts back and forth. Because when I tell y'all, these folks was flat foot getting into it about this situation. They were flat foot getting into it about this topic. And it was serious, y'all. Like I said, they had a whole poll on it. And those 2 questions that I took and 4 answers is small thing to that big long thing that I got these questions and these answers from. I was like, these folks were serious, and they really were. They talked about it. I know y'all 3 years straight. I ain't tripping. I think this thing was talked about even in 2018. I know this year, last year, but I think he went back first 2018. And when they talked about it for like weeks at a time. It wasn't like they talked about it for a day or 2. Now this thing went on for at least a week and a half each time. So I'm like, let me go ahead and state my opinion on it, official opinion on it, because it don't matter to me either way. To each his own. Okay, so this has been episode 6. Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my cell phone bills? Can you pay my automobiles? Then maybe we could chill. All of that, y'all. I just had to do a little bit of the little Destiny Child reference. Okay, so this has been episode 6. I bring you a brand new episode every Tuesday here on the Hello Beauties podcast. You can catch me on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, pretty much all of your podcast platforms. And if you are watching me on YouTube, y'all, there is a visual to this podcast. I have a YouTube channel at Hello Beauties Podcast on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe so that you never miss an upload of the podcast. Visit the website, subscribe to the website. I give you weekly updates on what's going on with the podcast, who's going to be my special guest, what's going to be the next topic, and all of that good stuff. I'm going to be updating the website real soon, so it's going to be more stuff coming to the website, and I'm going to reveal that at a later date. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys same time, same place next week. Bye, y'all.